What's your take on this? Is this a fight that excites you?
No, but I think it's a fight that Derek Chisora has every right to make and take. You know, I think he'll beat Pulev this time round. I think it was nip and tuck in the last one. For Pulev to beat Derek Chisora, he's going to have to do a lot more than he's been doing in recent fights. So I don't, you know, Derek told me off about, you know, doing down ticket sales, so I'm conscious of not calling the fight out, but it's not one I want to particularly watch. I think it's a road to nowhere. Both of these fighters are just getting paid. This is what this is about, just getting paid. And that's fine, because if it's a good fight, it doesn't matter if they're getting paid. What you'll get from Derek is, if he's going to get beaten by Pulev, he's going to have to, you know, Pulev's going to have to really, really put it upon him. I think Derek wins. I think he knocks him out.
Having said that, I mean, Danny, we'll listen to Pulev there. He's a guy with a decent pedigree. 31 fights, 29 wins, 2 losses. That, by any stretch of the imagination, is not a bad career.
It's not at all. And with that level of power that they both possess...
Look at his fault, though. Have a look at his fighting record. There's only a few decent names on there.
Is there?
Yeah, there's only a few decent names on there.
Well, you know more than I, but I think when you're looking at two guys of that size, if you're not switched on from the moment you go in, you can find yourself on the floor, can't you? But I hope Derek wins. He comes across, he seems like... I mean, I don't know.
I like him. I agree with you.
Yeah, he's chilled. He's more relaxed than, you know, he doesn't seem like...
Well, you patched up with him, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because he
hasn't
like
paid
you to start with.
So, no, I haven't patched up.
But he owes you 100 quid,
He owes me money. So, no, we haven't patched up. But as far as the fight's concerned, what you're going to get, irrespective of whether I say it's a money fight, right, which is what... part of the game is fighting for money. Part of football is playing for money. It's all about the dynamics of it. You don't go to work for love, do you? So, it's not fair to say it's just about money. But what you'll get with Chisora is you're going to get an honesty. He will go in there and you will see a fight from the first bell to the last moment of the fight. Now, it's about whether Derek has still got enough left in the tank to be able to do certain things.
Excuse me.
I think he has.
You okay, Danny?
You right, Dan?
That was just a sneeze. It happens to it.
Allergic to dribble, was it? But I just feel that we'll see. I'm not impressed by Pulev. I wasn't impressed with Pulev by what he put up against Anthony Joshua.
Why?
Because I just think he's a big nothing. I think he's. You know,
his record's decent. You might be saying he's fighting
but
nobody,
look
but it's still
at
a
his
decent
faults.
record.
I mean, when he thought Anthony Joshua got beat by him, Jerry Forrest was his last fight. Oh, wow, whoop-de-doo-dah. Michael Sprott's on his record. With due respect, these are domestic-level fighters. You know, Vladimir Klitschko beat him. Look at the record that he's got. He's fought Derek once. It was a split decision. You know, Tony Thompson's a decent level. But other than that, this is not a particularly impressive record of fighters. You know, he is a strong character. He's a strong fighter. Derek will have to beat him, but I think Derek stops this rot of the last 3 losses. But, you know, you've got to look on that. You know, they've got Usyk in that last 3 fights. You've got Joseph Parker twice. You know, we had Ben Shalom telling us yesterday, which I did nearly fall off my chair about, that Joseph Parker was a pay-per-view fighter, but we'll discuss that in a different discussion.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is I think that if you like a tear-up, if you like a barn burner, then go to a Derek Chisora fight.
Well,
this fight, Derek Chisora, I think, will beat Kubrat Pulev.
You know, you've got to admire Chisora as well, though, Simon. 44 fights, 32 wins, 12 defeats.
But look who he's fought.
But having said that, 12 defeats. So you would think, all right, Derek, are you thinking about time up? What he said yesterday was, even if he is defeated again by Pulev, forget me retiring. I've no intention of retiring.
But because he knows that people will be prepared to go and watch him fight, because they know, irrespective of win, lose or draw, they're going to see a fight.
He gives it, yeah.
And that's what some people want to go and see. Some people want to go to fights because they're Hollywood fights and they lead to a big spectacle of 94,000 at Wembley Stadium or such and such at Manchester's MEM with nothing on the line besides, you know, Kell Brook and Amir Khan's pride. But in this instance, some people want to go to a fight and say, I'm going to see 2 guys be honest about it. And so Derek Chisora, I'm not suggesting any of those other fights wouldn't contain the same thing, but the dynamic in this is a fight to nowhere. No one's getting any world titles about this. No one's getting any final eliminators for a particular belt.
But there are fights like this,
and this is the point that we're making.
This is the thing.
And if you look at Derek's record, I mean, come on, you know, the losses he's had, you know, Robert Helenius, who's still inside the top 15 in the world, Vitaly Klitschko, David Haye, 2 former world champions. You go on to Tyson Fury, arguably the best fighter of his generation. You then fight Pulev, you fight Dillian Whyte, you fight, you know, Dillian Whyte again, you fight Alexander Usyk, Joseph Parker. These are the losses that Derek's had.
Yeah.
Now look at those names and say, well, you can understand why somebody losses. And every fight that's been there for Chisora against every level, he's taken them all. He took Vitaly Klitschko when Vitaly Klitschko did a real number on Lennox Lewis, and Lennox Lewis was lucky to get out of that fight with a win. So Chisora, You've got to give it to him. He's an honest fighter, so he earns his right for his paydays.
Well, that's one of the reasons I love the UFC more than the boxing. A bit like you're talking about his mentality there. That's what happens in the UFC. They fight. People stand up and fight each other and don't mind losing, then they get in a fight again.
That's right. Well, you're right about Chisora, incidentally, Simon, and that the very point you've just made. David Hay made it to us before. This was David Hay on Chisora's chances against Pulev.
He outfoxed him in Bulgaria when they fought the first time round, and Derek Chisora knows that. But I think the Derek Chisora of 2022 now is significantly improved. I believe if he allows Pulev to keep him at bay with that, as you said, that tall Eastern European long jab, he likes a breather. He doesn't like to fight at a high tempo and a high pace. If Derek Chisora can close the range and get inside him and really put the pressure on, I think it will be, first off, a very entertaining and exciting fight. But I think he could stop him late.
There you go. So David Hayes.
Yeah, David Hayes' recent tips have been, we're going to see Usyk getting demolished by Anthony Joshua and Dillian White's going to smash Tyson Fury. So whatever David Hayes says, weigh on the other one.
He's on the same meds as Bassini.
Don't use that kind of language because you'll get people upset here about the callous nature of our thinking.
Well, that's why I said it, so we can go down together.
What I would say, Simon, you're a bit aggrieved that, and I witnessed the bet being made, so you have right on your side. You are rightly a bit aggrieved that Derek Chisora hasn't stumped up your 100 quid yet.
Well, he was all Trappy McTrapster, and every time he goes to fight, he keeps on telling me, I'll give you your money. Well, go on then.
Yeah, well, he hasn't done that as yet. And yet this morning, when he spoke very briefly to Sam Ellard, well, you and I should be happy.
Favourite talkSPORT presenter?
Jim White and...
Not Simon Jordan.
And Simon Jordan, yeah.
So he got the order right, didn't he?
Well, he got forced. It felt like he got forced into the Simon Jordan.
He got forced into Simon Jordan stuff. He's going to say Jim because Jim probably blew as much smoke up his backside as a man has ever seen.
Not like Jim.
That's not our Jim, is it?
It's a dreadful image. A dreadful image. I think the bottom line is this, Simon. You cannot take it away from these guys. They could put their feet up and retire. Yep. They've got enough money, Chisora and Pulev, and yet they still want to do it.
Look, I mean, Derek has had a lot of fights during his career where he has not been remunerated properly. He has been the B-side of everything, and certainly the B-side of it economically. He'll tell you that himself. Yes, he's made himself now in a position where economically he's okay, but he knows he can get really paid for the fights that he's doing now. And he has every right. People worry about his health. Every time we speak to Derek is in fine nick, fine fettle. He's a monster of a man in terms of physicality, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, every time he puts himself in a ring, he puts himself in the way of it, and these guys hit hard, these heavyweights. But if he wants to do that, that's his gift. And ultimately, if he's getting paid significant returns for this, which he will be, it's his pension. That's how he sees it, I think, without paraphrasing.
So you shouldn't go seeking your 100 quid that you're owed?
No, he should pay what he owes. He should, his mouth shouldn't write checks that he's not prepared to cash.
Who wins this?
The fight?
Yeah.
Chisora?
Go on, Del Boy. Yeah. Go out there and give it to him.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.